Hi, here's Eddie here. I have some tips for you today. It's about these. You probably recognize the old steak and kidney pie foil tray. Be amazed how many things you can do with this. If you perforate holes in it, you can use it to put vegetables in, to put in a steamer to keep them separate. Things like if you put a sprinkling of dried mint on the bottom and put your peas on top of that, you will find that the peas will come out minted, and when you tip them out, the mint will stay in the bottom of the tray and you can wash it away. There are several other things that you can use these trays for. I make a lot of crumbles. You can do any kind of fruit crumble you like, from strawberries to apples, even rhubarb. You can even do mixed fruit like peaches and plums, and all you need to do to make a crumble is to prepare your fruit. If it's strawberries, you cut them in take the green stalk out, then cut them in half and sugar them down, and stone your plums and sugar them down, etc., etc., and keep them in the fridge for a day. Then the next day, half fill this foil tray with the fruit and put the crumble on top. Now, for you lazy ones, all you need to do is buy a bag of ready prepared crumble to put in it. I myself make the crumble myself. It's fairly easy. You need equal weights of butter or margarine, sugar and flour. Now, it must be done by weight, which means you'll get a lot more flour for the weight than you will sugar and fat. You simply mix them together, mix the flour and the fat. I use an olive spread, which I think is very well, and mix the flour in with it. You can use your hands or you can use a spoon, and then after you've got the flour with the butter or margarine embedded in it, you then add the sugar and mix that together. You can either do that with your hands or with a spoon, and simply cover the top of them with them and put them in a moderate oven until the crumble starts to go golden. You can then freeze them, and they're ideal for freezing individual portions. Anybody who is a single person or a couple, you can do these, freeze them, and then you can take them out, run a little warm water over the back, and they'll come out quite easy then when they're frozen, and pop them in the microwave and you have an individual sweet made. You can bake these for nothing, because if you're cooking a roast dinner, do half a dozen of these and freeze them, and then you've got a few days supply of fruit. You can do, you don't have to make them all the same fruit. You can mix, you can do 6 different fruits if you want, and it's as simple as that. And I tend to use them for that first. You can also make pies, anything you like in them as an individual portion, and then you can perforate them to use them in the steamer. After a while, of course, they get a bit tattered using them in the steamer, and you simply recycle them, then put them in your recycle. bag. They love foil, it recycles quite easily. So you're making use of something that costs nothing, and I get these by buying frozen uncooked pies, which I cook at the same time as I'm doing a roast or something, so, and then freeze them. So they actually cost nothing to cook. This can save you a lot of money in gas or electric, whichever you use for cooking. Obviously you've got to have a freezer and a microwave to do it. I think most people have that these days, especially if you're using takeaways and frozen food, which are quite expensive. You'll find you'll save yourself a lot of money. And that's about it. I hope you find a use for these. Oh, I forgot, there's one other thing they can be used for. They make wonderful individual Yorkshire puddings. And the ideal way to do that is to decide one day when you're going to have pancakes, and you'll find that when you mix up an egg and make a pancake or use a pancake mix, it's more than one person, so you can pour olive oil or sunflower oil in the bottom of these, rub it over the bottom, see, like that, and then you can pour the batter that's left over after you've had your pancakes, because you will have some left over, and pop that in the freezer and freeze them. And then when you're doing a roast, say roast meat or steak or whatever, you simply pop that into it with the meat and potatoes, and get your Yorkshire pudding, and you'll have an nice individual Yorkshire pudding. So that's about all I have to say about these things, but because they're going to cost you nothing, it's a wonderful thing to use. That's all from Eddie. I'll have some more information from you in the future.